Carmen, can I buy a car before or after filing bankruptcy? It's from Marie in Punta Gorda. It said PG, Punta Gorda. And that's a great question, Marie. Here's what I like to do. I like to sit back and throw that question back on the consumer. I sit back and I go, all right, Marie, let's talk about your financial circumstances. What are you driving now? Does it have car payments? Is it a lease? Is it something that you can carry through the bankruptcy all the way? For example, let's just think she's going to file a Chapter 13. She's going to need a car in the next 3 to 5 years. Well, it may be better for her now to go buy the car, depending on what the financing rates are, what her credit report looks like, and what her current financial situation is. Buy the car now and carry it through the bankruptcy, making all the regular monthly payments. Or she may be better off waiting. Let's say she's filing a Chapter 7. If she waits in the Chapter 7 until she gets her discharge, that changes the game as well. Because in a Chapter 7, once you get your discharge, your credit report's going to change dramatically. Your debt-to-income ratio is going to change. You know, you may have by the time you're through the Chapter 7, you may change jobs. You may be looking for work when you file the Chapter 7. There's a lot of things that change, so that's why I always throw that question back to the individual. There's no prohibition on buying a car, either before or after bankruptcy. Let's talk about before. If you, depending on your credit score, you may be able to go in and get a great interest rate now, and that may be more beneficial to you because after you file bankruptcy, your credit report's going to take a hit. So in that situation, I may advise somebody, look, you told me you need to buy a car. How long is this car going to last? Well, it's not going to last a day. All right, pretty simple solution there. Go out and buy a car. If you say, hey, Carmen, I can make this car work. It has no car payments, but it's got maybe 4 months left in it. Well, again, you may want to go out and buy the car now. I'm not allowed to tell people to incur new debt before you file. So I'm not going to say, hey, go out and run up your credit cards. That would be silly. Number one, it might get you in trouble in the bankruptcy, but number two, it's bad legal advice. So, I'm not going to say that to you. I'm also not going to tell you to go out and buy a house before you file bankruptcy. I'm not going to suggest to you to go buy a car. But if you ask me, Carmen, can I buy a car like this young lady did, then yeah, I'm going to say, of course you can do it. There's no prohibition on you buying a car before you file bankruptcy. And again, after you file bankruptcy, if you're in a Chapter 13, you may need to get the judge's permission to go buy a vehicle. And we routinely ask the judge for permission in certain cases when we need to get the permission so we can go out and buy a car. And again, it depends on your budget, whether or not both parties are still working, husband and wife. If it's just you, then are you still working? What can you afford? And what really still needs to be paid back to your creditor. So every case is different. But the generic rule is, sure, you can buy a car before you file bankruptcy, and you can buy a car after you file bankruptcy. The terms are all going to change. So that's really the answer to the question is, where do you get the best deal? Because I don't want to see anybody go out to buy a car when they absolutely need it and get bad terms. I'd rather see somebody plan it out and get the best deal, the best sale price, and the best terms financing it if you have to finance it. Best deal, go out and borrow a car from somebody else. That's the best deal.